guest on our show, and she joins me tonight in prime time. Ann, thanks for coming back. All right.
Well, that was a surprise. I guess that's what we're talking about, Rick.
Let's do that. Look, doesn't Breitbart deserve to lose his credibility for this? It doesn't matter who sent it to him, man. What matters is he published this stuff. Something that turned out to be wrong.
Well, you said something wrong in your introduction. This wasn't edited to make it look like she was discriminating against a white farmer. She was admitting that she was discriminating against a white farmer. What made it out of context was when you saw the full 45-minute speech, she then explained, as everyone, the entire world now knows, that she came around, she changed her mind, that was the wrong thing to do. It wasn't a doctored tape, it wasn't an edited tape, it was an excerpted tape. And, you know, we're constantly hearing public figures who are caught telling dirty jokes. And they say, oh, that was taken out of context. This was literally taken out of context.
And you're playing semantic games, and you know it. The fact...
No, I'm not. There's a big difference.
Yes, it does. The only thing, the thing that matters to those of us who practice this craft, you and myself, those of us who make money communicating with people, is truth. And in the end, that's the only thing that we should be talking about. Not whether one word was taken here or one word was taken. If in the end, the whole of your argument, the whole of what you just delivered is true or not true, that's what you should be judged by. How am I wrong?
Well, then the NAACP and the White House are far more guilty than Breitbart because they didn't wait to see the full video. And by the way, the NAACP had the full video. Breitbart didn't fire anyone. Breitbart didn't have the full video. And if we could get back to your claim that what you care about is the truth, why do you keep repeating the despicable lie that John Lewis was called the N-word 15 times on Capitol Hill at the anti-Obama protest? That is a lie.
Hold on.
And you have repeated that. This network repeats it. All these networks repeat it. That is a lie. You know, at least surely Sherrod got a reputation back.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. We attribute that to the congressman who made that assertion. That's called attribution.
It wasn't John Lewis.
Well, there were several there who actually said that. They said it in a press conference. But let me come back to the matter at hand there. So you're...
No. There's a $100,000 reward for anyone who can produce a video of someone calling John Lewis the N-word one time, not to say 15 times.
And you're convinced...
That reward has been out there for 3 months.
And you're convinced that because no one has taken the money that it didn't happen? I mean...
There is more evidence that you have a problem with kiddie porn. I have as much evidence for that as you do that John Lewis was called the N-word. And by the way, in fact, I have more evidence because there hasn't been the press searching all over you, trying to find your problem with kiddie porn, and a $100,000 reward for anyone who can produce evidence of your problem with kiddie porn. So I have a lot more evidence that you have a problem with kiddie porn than that any Tea Partier ever called John Lewis the N-word one time, forget 15 times.
All right, you and I are not going to solve that because I wasn't there and neither were you, and all we've done is attributed what some people have said.
Okay,
we'll wait for
I wasn't in your private room when you were going through kiddie porn.
We'll wait for that person to come in with and accept the $100,000 reward.
How long do you wait? You have made an accusation
but you're trying to prove a negative.
A great civil rights hero was called the N-word.
You're trying to prove a negative, and I want to get back.
Over.
And I want to get back to this point. All right?
Okay, you prove you don't have a problem with kiddie porn.
No, I don't want to talk about kiddie porn. I want to go back to the assertion that you make. I want to go back to the assertion that you make that in fact it wasn't Andrew Breitbart's fault for putting out that information because it's really the fault of the mystery person who sent him the information. Do you stand by that?
Look, I don't know the details of this. What I know is what was played, and I never said anything about it. I wasn't on TV on Monday. On Monday, what people saw, what I saw, what you saw, what the White House saw, what the NAACP saw, and what Andrew Breitbart saw was a racist statement. It was literally taken out of context where when you see the full speech, you see she's walking it back. It's like she's at an AA meeting talking about getting drunk, and now she doesn't get drunk anymore. No. She's saying she had these racist feelings toward a farmer, and she was in a position of power. That's why the White House fired her. I mean, they're the one you should be haranguing. I didn't fire anybody. I didn't denounce her like the NAACP, and I didn't have a copy of the full video the way the NAACP did.
Let me ask you the question one more time, Ann. Did you defend Andrew Breitbart and put the blame when you were on Fox News on whatever person it was who sent him the tape? Did you do that? Because it sounded to me when I heard that soundbite like that's what you were doing.
Yeah, you saw what I said.
Well,
I suspect someone was trying to play him, but I don't know. That is my suspicion because that was the part of the video he had, and he didn't have the full video the way the NAACP did. But if you really want examples for accusations of racism being taken out of context, how about all these photos of white men carrying guns allegedly at Obama rallies, and then you expand the photo and it turns out it's a black man.
You're changing the subject, but let me take you back.
Keep showing the photo of the gun. Well, because usually when someone is falsely accused of racism, it's a conservative, and usually they don't achieve sainthood within 24 hours, as Shirley Sherrod is. I feel sorry for her, but not as sorry as I feel for the other ones.
Here's an example of where you may possibly be a little hypocritical on this thing. Let me take you back to somebody.
I don't think so.
Well, let me take you back to something you did. When Dan Rather was accused of using a source that was questionable regarding a story he did about President George Bush, you wrote, Dan knew he was foisting forgeries on the nation to try and change a presidential election. So when it comes to Dan Rather, you say that, in fact, he was at fault. But when it comes to Breitbart, it's not his fault. It's the fault of the source who sent him the story. Can you have it both ways, Ann, my friend?
Yes, you can. Yes, there does need to be some due diligence in news organizations. And if you read the full column, it was well known that Dan Rather's source was not trustworthy. He literally was foaming at the mouth in a meeting with the Washington Post, as described.
And Breitbart was someone we haven't even identified yet, but he was?
I don't know, but I know with Dan Rather, I don't know. All I know is what Breitbart has. I'm making an educated guess because that was what Breitbart put up all of the tape he had, and I think we're spending way too much time on something. Okay, a bad thing was done to Shirley Sherrod on Monday, but she's a saint today. She's Mother Teresa. That never happened to Charles Pickering. That never happened to Judge Bork. That never happened to George Bush, all of whom were also falsely accused of racism by taking things out of context.
You are aggressive and combative when debates occur with you, and that's why I enjoy having you on the show. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being with us, and hopefully we'll be able to do it once again and stay friends when we're all done arguing. It's like family. Thanks so much, Ann. Appreciate it. Some incredible